So you've come into the flu vaccine clinic today. Is it okay if I get your name?
Sure. My name's Mike Leonard.
Okay. And what's your date of birth?
21st of May, 1959.
Thanks. Perfect. Have you had a flu shot before?
Well, they asked me to come down here. No, I usually say no to those sorts of things. I just never thought anybody I ever knew that took them got sick from taking it. So
Right.
I figured out it didn't make much sense.
Right. Yeah. Have you heard of any benefits? Any good things about having the flu shot?
Some of the people didn't get the flu, but that doesn't mean they would have got it anyway.
Yeah. You're actually right. You don't tend. How often have you had the flu yourself?
Very seldom.
Yeah. Maybe once every 10 years or something like that? Or even
Yeah,
less?
if that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty typical. Any reasons you think, other than that, somebody might have a flu shot?
I'm just maybe health conscious, don't want to pass it on or something like that, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah. So sometimes if you have an elderly person in your family
Yeah.
and sometimes if our own health as we get older, maybe we're starting to run into diabetes or Hep C or HIV, then the flu becomes more dangerous to us.
Yeah, the
Or-
diabetes runs in my family, so yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's some benefits to having the vaccine.
Okay.
And there are some risks, pretty mild risks, but one of them you already mentioned, that is that a few people feel unwell after having the flu vaccine. They might feel a bit achy or tired for a day or two after. Less than 1 in 10. It's not
Really?
very common, but it does sometimes happen, and it puts some people off having the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
The other possible side effect, some people get a little bit of a soreness where the injection was. Yeah. So,
No, I don't have a problem. I inject all the time, so.
okay. The vaccine itself might cause a little redness or a little bit of heat there. So generally, which hand do you use for writing, or which is?
Right, I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed? So generally then we would use the left shoulder, that muscle, for injection, just so that your strong arm isn't
Okay.
sore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a third possible risk of having any vaccine, and that is a strong allergic reaction. It's super rare, but there's a possibility of just the throat closing up and the person having trouble breathing.
Okay.
So all the vaccine clinics carry EpiPens, like epinephrine, to help
Like
somebody
bee
through
sting,
that.
bee sting,
Exactly,
yeah.
that kind of medicine. Exactly. Does any of this discussion make you consider having the flu vaccine this year?
Not really, no. I just, to inject the virus into me doesn't make sense when I can keep it out of me all totally, usually, so, you know.
Ah, right. What they use in the preparation is like a killed version, so that the body does react and make antibodies to recognize if any flu comes in through the air,
Yeah.
that it can't take hold. So that's the theory, I guess, with how vaccines work, making your immune system work, hopefully for your benefit.
Yeah, well, I'm an intravenous drug user, so it's kicked in most of the time anyway, so why overwork it? You know, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I've heard lots of people say that. And then there's other people that say it's working our immune system in a way that's got this other benefit of preventing.
Some people say it opens glands up and keeps the flow going, but I don't know. So why use it if it's not necessary is the way I look at it.
Right. I guess another way I look at it, being that I do see people that are ill sometimes, if we get the flu and get a real good dose of it, and we've got that 104 temperature and in bed for a few days and having trouble eating and stuff, it's sometimes turns into pneumonia, and then we can end up in hospital. And there's a few people each year die from the follow-up after flu or influenza. I guess the reason that the vaccine's free in the downtown east side is they feel like maybe some people aren't able to get enough fruits and vegetables into their diet, and
I believe them.
maybe it's pretty stressful, you know, if there's problems with housing and that kind of stuff. And then sometimes actual illnesses, like you say, diabetes or Hep C or HIV.
Your age has quite a bit to do with it too, doesn't it? Like the older you get, I'm 55 now, so what I stick in my arm, I do, sort of thing.
Right. So it's free for over 65. You're right. Age does have a lot to do with how rough the outcome of flu might be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the 3 possible unpleasant side effects or 3 risks of having the vaccine that I went over a minute or 2 ago?
Well, the ultimate sickness of being in bed and vomiting and not being able to hold food down, discomfort, soreness of where you take the injection, and the throat. And,
The life-threatening one, right? The
yeah,
allergy.
The allergy, yeah.
Right, yeah. The strong illness would be if you got the flu, the fever, and but as far as a side effect, a very few people say they feel a little bit tired or a little bit achy the next day, but not anywhere as bad as the whole being sick with the flu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a tuberculosis check here a little while ago, and it didn't really bother me either. But I think TB is a good thing to be checked for every 10 years or so.
Oh, I
so.
totally agree.
Yeah.
It can be sneaky, and people might not have any idea they have it. And it is such a tiny little test. Good for you.
A week later, she come back, and I was okay. But my friend's young fella had that. That's a terrible disease.
Right. Yeah. Well, good for you for getting checked. Yeah.
No, I'm glad the Coastal Health is doing it for, going around doing it for free. So yeah. It's good.
Yeah. So, did any of the discussion today change your mind
Nope.
at all about the vaccine?
Not really.
Not today.
Not today.
Oh, okay. Well, I respect your decision.
Thank you. Thanks for the info.